All right, I'll call this meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, first we have the minutes from our August 26th meeting. We had a public hearing on Sherman Hill Road, two-family. And we closed the public hearing on the Sherman Hill Road two-family. We then had a public hearing on the LWF LLC Incorporated Farm Pond, which was open and closed, and a resolution granting erosion and sediment control permit approval. And then let's see. Then we went through old business, 10 Mile River Preserve Activity Barn, and a resolution classifying the action referring the project to the Dutchess County Department of Planning and Development. And then we had a discussion about Starkdale Farm, where we set a site walk for this, not this past Saturday, but the Saturday before. And then under new business, we had Harlan Valley Homestead and resolution to grant a third 180-day extension of conditional final subdivision approval. And then further on Harlan Valley Homestead, resolution to grant a one-year extension of site plan and special use permit approval. All right, and then a resolution to recommend the amount of a performance guarantee for the Harlan Valley Homestead road paving. And then we had a discussion about the 3186 Route 22 restaurant. And then we set a site walk for that, which was also, again, nine days ago, Saturday. All right, motion to accept the minutes. Motion made by Member Rahman, seconded by Member Palmer. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed say no. Okay, motion passes 6-0 with one absence. Okay, next on the agenda, we have a public hearing for the 10 Mile River Preserve Activity Barn. The applicant and or consultant will just give the board an update. Members of the board will make comments, ask questions. Our consultants will weigh in, and then we will start the public hearing. So if you'd like to speak at the public hearing, please sign up at on the clipboard behind the consultants. And Sander?
Alrighty. Hello again, everyone. Good to see you all. Again, Peter Sander, representing the applicant for the 10 Mile River Preserve Activity Barn. As we discussed in the past, the applicant is looking to convert an existing agricultural structure, about 10,000 square feet or so, into a recreational building to support their existing 10 Mile River Preserve business. So the applicant is proposing to convert the existing barn into the rec building, which could be rented out to members of the 10 Mile River Preserve. Included in part of the improvements that we are proposing on our site plan is, again, the conversion of the structure, but additionally two new outdoor patios, the reconfiguration of an existing parking area, including the demolition of an existing metal barn that's in the front. We're also proposing a pickleball court, open air pavilion, additional landscaping, so screening, as we discussed with the arborvitae hedges that are going to be kept under 6 feet, a new well and sewage disposal system for the proposed use, and a new dining area that is capable of supporting up to 60 people. For the benefit of the public, this facility is not going to be regularly used. This is more of a kind of an event. Gives the preserve members something to say, host a dinner for a family birthday party. So again, this is more of a one-off where people may be showing up to the site once or so a week to use the facility and then leave the facility. The building will also contain one bedroom lodging unit, which they could rent out to, say, the person renting the facility for the day. In response, we've been working on some edits, which are due this Wednesday, including some lighting plan, which we will be providing, as well as a response to the fire department, which we received a letter for on September 9th. Again, nothing very concerning in this letter, pretty standard stuff, so happy to incorporate this stuff on the site plan. Otherwise, it's a fairly straightforward application, and I'm happy to answer any public comment.
Okay. Any member of the planning board have any comments or questions at this time?
Yeah, I just have one comment. Is the applicant asking, I was on the site walk, for permission or forgiveness?
Honestly, probably a little of both. The building department apparently issued building permits.
They have the permits, I saw.
So, you know, we're just, it's a hybrid approach. That's the answer.
Thank you.
So just for the public's sake, I was also on the site walk along with Member Palmer and Member Roman. I don't think any other members were on the site walk, and some of our consultants. And yes, you can see that some work had been done, which appeared to be in furtherance of the project that has not received approval yet. But you had, your applicant had the building permits to do the work they had. So
Yeah. So the way we approach it is that they proceeded with permits just as them owning the existing facility. Now we're formalizing the use with the planning board approval.
Understood. Okay. Anything further, Member Palmer?
No, okay.
All right.
I'm just taking a shot there.
Sure. Next, we'll go to Attorney Polidoro. Anything to add?
I don't have any new comments. We were waiting on some outstanding information.
Right.
So
Yep.
when you get that, we can continue moving forward with the project.
And again, you said at the top you're anticipating meeting the deadline
Yep.
of this week
Yes, sir.
for
For the next
the next
October meeting, I
October
believe.
meeting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no comment. You
Wonderful.
talked about the lighting and everything already, so we'll review that when it comes in.
Engineer Berger.
Yeah, same here. We're awaiting the revisions that you're going to be submitting. You're going to add your drainage erosion control furtherance on the septic design, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Oh, and just a heads up, we did submit to the health department,
That's good.
and they were pursuing the approval through them.
Okay.
Okay. And typically, we open a public hearing, and then as the public hearing goes on for the evening, we look to see if we're going to continue or close the public hearing. I mean, you still have stuff that you need to give to us, so I'm fully anticipating that we will be continuing this public hearing.
Okay.
Unless planning board members have a strong objection, but I don't think so. So, all right. If someone could give us the.
Nobody signed it.
Oh, no, there's two. I didn't see it.
Okay. All right, so as that comes forward, I'll need a motion to open the public hearing for the 10 Mile River Preserve Activity Barn. Motion made by
So moved.
Member Williams, seconded by Member Palmer. Okay, all those in favor of opening this public hearing, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, say no. Okay, this public hearing is now open. The vote is 5-0 with one absence and one recusal. That's why I did not see Member Villano here. Okay, so I'll read the names off the list. You'll have 3 minutes at the podium to make comment, ask questions. And the first name is Mary Abdullah.
I'm Mary Abdullah. Hello.
The podium. There. Thank you.
This is the first we're hearing of this, and it's a 200-foot radius of the parcel boundaries of my home. Now, we already have that shooting range there that is really loud, and there's no sidewalks on Lime Kiln Road, and people, a lot of people walk there, and this seems like it's going to add a lot more traffic. I'd like to know if you could point out exactly where it's going to be, on this in relation to my home?
I could, okay, let's, we bring up Dutchess County parcel access. That might be easier to see, ma'am, on the screen behind you. Let's see, okay.
There's Limekiln.
Yep, so Limekiln's here.
Right,
Okay, so this is Sand Hill Road,
right.
and Sand Hill Road comes around this way. So the activity barn is located here, just for everyone who can't really see that cursor. So the activity barn's located here. This is Limekiln Road.
Right.
This is Berkshire Road, coming off of Limekiln. This is the northern end of Craig Lane.
Yes,
So I don't want to
it's not.
I don't want to put it out for the public exactly where you live, but you know where you live. And
Right around, and I was thinking it was like right across the street.
no, so it's
It's over.
yeah, so it's over here.
The parking,
Sorry,
the parking,
I could zoom in further. Before I do that, just for just your own. So here this is, and then excuse me. So the activity barn is here, and the end or the beginning, depending on your perspective, Berkshire Road is there. So as the crow flies, it's about a half mile.
okay.
Okay. So then the parking. So the reason you would have received this is while you're half mile, give or take, from the barn, the property goes right up against Limekiln Road. So it's within 200 feet of the property, which is, you know, all these properties along here. So yeah, it's not within 200 feet of your property.
Right.
I mean, again, the property is within 200 feet. The structure is not within 200 feet. Anybody remember how to turn this? There we go. Okay. Let me see. Okay, so that. Okay, so as the consultant for the applicant explained, there's this white small barn there now. They're going to be tearing that down, and they're going to be building a parking lot there
Okay.
for 20. I don't remember exactly. 20, maybe about 20 cars, give or take. Yeah.
Okay, it's better than I thought.
Okay.
And will the traffic on Limekiln Road increase?
So, according to what the applicant is saying, is that it's for their membership of the 10 Mile River Preserve Gun Club.
Okay.
So, either they're having an event and then they're going to also use this the structure, so the traffic would increase on
Event.
Berkshire Road or Sand Hill Road,
Right.
or it's possible that they might have an event that is just only at the activity barn. So then there would be some cars driving, most likely on Limekiln Road, to go to that event. But
Okay.
so either traffic would remain the same or increase if there is an event.
Sounds better than I thought.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And then, sorry, I can't read the first name.
Saeed.
Saeed.
Yes.
Like to come to the podium?
No, I passed.
You're all set?
My
Okay.
wife's-
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you. All right. Any other members of the public wishing to speak at this public hearing? Please come to the podium at this time. Just state your name. All right. With that, I'll make a motion to continue this public hearing. Let's see. So October 7th. Let me just double check. Yes, October 7th. Okay. So we'll make a motion to continue public hearing for 10 Mile River Preserve Activity Barn to October 7th at 7 p.m. or soon thereafter, as the planning board may hear public comment. Seconded by member LaRobediere. Discussion. Seeing no discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed say no. Okay, that motion passes 5-0 with 2 absences. All right, so any members of the public who wish to speak about this, you'll have another opportunity on October 7th. Okay. I don't know if there's anything else to add at this time. You're going to submit your...
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you.
All right, that's it.
That would be it, yes.
Cool.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Okay. So, discussion, we had 2 site walks 9 days ago. Have a good night. Myself and the consultants thought it best to kind of go over the site walks. Not every planning board member can make it, and especially on the site walk with Starkdale Farm, we're in different cars, so there might have been different conversations happening. Not everyone would have been privy to. So, for everyone here, let me just bring up the Starkdale Farm site plan. I think what would be best, I guess, just the general map here. Okay, so excuse me. Okay, so we had the site walk on Saturday the 7th. Was it 8 a.m. right? And we met at the Starkdale, across the street from the Starkdale farmhouse. And right away, there was a discussion about the building. So the Starkdale farmhouse is this small structure here, and then they were proposing this large structure there. And it seemed like very quickly they were like, yeah, we're probably not going to be doing that because there would be a lot of walking across the road. They thought it might be some kind of movie theater or some other type of event space.
Live theater, performance.
Or performance space, yeah. So there was talk of like that structure will probably be incorporated into this village area. This is meant to be a commercial village area. So again, just to orient people, this is the Starkdale farmhouse. This is the barn across the street. That I guess both buildings are famous from the Quiet Place movies. And then so this would be the main street. We found out kind of late in the site walk that their current thinking is that all traffic onto the entirety of the property would go through this intersection right here, correct?
Back.
So that if you lived in one of their proposed, houses or structures up here, that you would go into the village, come across, and then take this tunnel under, and they're proposing a tunnel in two tunnels. They'd go under the county road and then up to the side of the property. Or, if you're over here, you just come up this way. So, we talked about, there will likely need to be, that maybe that's fine, but there would likely need to be some kind of emergency access for the Pauling Fire Department down here, for the Dover Fire Department up here. That wouldn't make a lot of sense to send emergency vehicles, through the village and through all this if you're trying to get to some house fire up on the hill. So that was discussed. So if we went from there, we went up to where this conference center is being proposed. And so it was interesting in looking at the landscape and discussing with it. So you can see from the topo lines that it just continuously goes uphill as you go north. And so they're proposing, and it sounds strange at first, it sounds strange I guess in general, they're proposing an 11-story building, but that no building at any time would really be more than 3 stories, because it'd be a 3-story high building here, and then it would step up, and then it would step up, and then it would step up, and it would keep stepping up as you went up the hill. So while down here there would be a 3-story building, say stories, or floors 1, 2, and 3, up here would be a 3-story building, and that'd be floors 9, 10, and 11, and that they basically be continuously connected all the way up. So I thought that was interesting. And again, I think it's really helpful on these site walks that you can't really grasp maybe what they're talking about until you actually see this just kind of giant hillside there. A lot of talk about the view shed. More talk when we came down to, let me just scroll down a little bit. We came down somewhere in this area, right? It was in the town of Pauling.
Yep.
We're looking across at Cat Rock. Cat Rock is right here. So we're basically straight across to Cat Rock. Cat Rock is here, actually. Yeah, there, I think. So just how the view would, the view shed would be obviously impacted by their project. From this field area here, at least in the lower part, you couldn't see Cat Rock. We didn't go all the way to the top, but it looked like there was just trees all the way up, kind of along this western edge of the field. So I don't know that you could see Cat Rock from any of it. But, so again, a lot of talk about the housing, and then clarification of everywhere you see that there's a structure just kind of out here is going to be a multifamily residential structure, and everywhere where you see a parcel where there is no structure, that would be a single-family home. What's the current proposal for housing?
It added up, well, there was also a dormitory somewhere.
Oh, right, yeah, some kind of dormitory for
employees.
Right, so that was one of the clarifications we tried to have in the field, was that they kept saying workforce housing, which has somewhat of a common definition in planning and development, meaning housing that's for, steady middle income people like police, fire, teachers, that sort of, workforce housing. They're talking about housing for their workforce. So we were talking about, they should really call it staff housing. So there's talk of a dormitory, correct?
About 250 people, I think, was the dormitory size. Yeah.
150 to 250 maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they were still kind of giving ranges of numbers, but
I think the total, when we were trying to do the math in the field, it
Right.
was between 950 and 1,000 units.
oh, sorry, the microphone. Oh, you got to talk in the microphone.
Oh.
Sorry.
Sorry.
We're talking about how many units was it total they're proposing?
It was changing as we were going throughout the field, so I think it got upwards of 800, right?
950.
Yeah, I was
Right.
gonna say close to 1,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I want to say it was like 250 single-family homes, and then the multifamily was going to be 450, then maybe 700, and then staff housing was definitely north of 100, 150, and then what they called keys for the
Hotel.
conference center was going to be around 150. So, so then we just kind of drove by the sports complex here. We didn't really talk about it much, and then we just went to the other side of the road here just to kind of look at the lake. And I don't know. Anybody have any other thoughts, comments? Member Palmer, you were there.
Yeah, no, it was very informative.
Yes.
Being on the site
Yes.
and being able to visualize their what
Vision.
they wanted to do, their vision,
Yeah.
for lack of a better way to say it.
Okay.
That's all.
Yeah. Member Ramon.
No comments, thank
Okay.
you.
All right.
Then I think it
Any
would
further?
be helpful as the project progresses to schedule maybe individual site walks once they have more detailed plans for each of the neighborhoods.
Right.
Go through them in more detail, because it was a very broad stroke overview.
Yeah. Right. It still took 2 hours.
Yeah.
So their current thinking is that they would have an application or a revised application into us by the end of October, I believe. I think the deadline might be October
15th.
30th?
Oh, October 30th for the meeting in
Like
November.
the meeting in the middle of November,
Yes.
right? Because we don't have a meeting at the beginning of November, so. So I think their current thinking was for the November 18th meeting, right, the deadline would be Wednesday, October 30th at noon, so that's their current thinking. And that would include a more robust application than they originally gave us. That would include proposed local law changes for zoning. So, Planner Block, anything further?
I was just gonna say, I like the idea of the site visits as we go further along, because a lot of what they talked about was preserving the nature that's there and developing in areas that are already open fields and keeping the wetlands and a lot of the trees. So I think to actually see that moving forward, we'll need to dig in
Right.
more when they have more detail.
Sure. Engineer Berger?
With that said, I think at this level, they don't have to get into final design to find more of those details. They have enough information, even on this, to add areas of parking, areas where they will be disturbing.
Right.
Possible stormwater locations, so that we can see how much of the site will be disturbed.
Right.
Because right now, this layout is nice, but it's missing that part which could actually double the amount of disturbance than we see on this map.
Sure.
And it doesn't have to be locked in.
Right.
They don't have to get down to final grading to get to there. They can provide that additional information now, at least in some manner, to show that
Right.
how much acreage they're actually going to disturb.
Right. And part of the sidewalk also was, which was not clear to me until we were there, that for the sports complex area and the country and conference center area, that they're proposing underground parking, at least at this time. We'll see what happens when they realize how expensive that is. But,
Exactly.
so, yeah, okay. Anybody have anything further from the site walk, or any other questions for members who weren't there? Is there anything you might have a question about? or-
Actually, there might be one other thing to note, and that's the buildings that are behind the conference center that are really close to the property line.
Right here, yeah.
Yeah, I believe it was a restaurant and something else. So I just want to put that,
Okay, I think one was
Right.
definitely a support building, like a maintenance building. Was one a restaurant?
I believe so.
one was a restaurant, yeah.
Yeah, one's a restaurant.
And I think that might still be in flux too, but
It's choose your own. See, there's a line, but no.
Yeah, they don't have they don't have anything on here that says what it is. Sorry, choose your own what?
Choose your own designation.
Oh,
But I do recall one of them being a restaurant. And we did talk about how close it was to the property boundary.
right. Yeah, I think the black line's a property boundary, and maybe this dash line's a setback.
Yes.
looks like,
Probably.
yeah.
So,
So it looks like they should meet the setback, but just something to talk about view shed because it sloped down drastically off the other side of the property. So
right,
could be at the top of someone's view or something.
right. And again, when you're standing, so again, when we were in the fields, we were maybe here or
I think so.
maybe a little north of here, but
Yeah.
not too much farther north. And you can see that there's trees lining pretty much both sides of the field. You can see very clearly south. But, yeah. So, remember, Laura, did you have a question?
Yeah, where's the Appalachian Trail?
Oh, yes. So, that was pointed out on the, on here. So the Appalachian Trail is this gray line. And so when you look at some of their plans, you very clearly see the line over on this side. And then you can see this little bit of a corner of the Appalachian Trail here on some of their plans. It'll just look like a little black line, almost like you wouldn't even think about it. Maybe it's a property line or something, but that's the Appalachian Trail there. So it looked like if you're on the Appalachian Trail here, you might get a very good view of everything going on here. And certainly if you're at Cat Rock, you're going to get a good view of a lot of this property. Again, it didn't seem like you'd have a view of this, but you'd see a lot of housing there.
It seemed like Windrose was going to be on both sides of it at one point.
On both sides of,
This must be, there was like some kind of issue with the Appalachian Trail.
oh, I'm sorry, the microphone.
Val? Yeah, it seems like there was an issue in the past with the other project, so it doesn't look like there's going to be a big problem with this because it's not actually crossing through.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, it's not, but.
I mean,
yeah.
it's irrelevant
Yeah,
if
yeah.
it's
No,
not.
the Appalachian Trail is entirely to the south and to the west of it, as you can see there.
Well, we can look at the view, like, we can, as part of the DEIS, if we go down that road, assuming we will, there could be a visual analysis done that would look at the impacts to the Appalachian Trail.
Right.
So, and we brought that up on the site visit, and they seemed to be they knew that they were going to have to, do renderings to see what
Right.
would change in the view shed, because it is such an important trail and area.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, there's going to be unavoidable, like I said, from Cat Rock, there's going to be unavoidable view shed issues, just from all the housing on this hillside here. The way it's situated, if you're standing up here in Cat Rock, you might not see anything over here because you're just basically looking over all the trees. But you'd clearly see a lot of housing here. And then again, if you're on this part of the Appalachian Trail, you very well could see housing or the Country and Conference Center or both. Again, that's what the renderings would have to.
I think they were talking about taking drone photos to show what the view shed
Sure.
would be.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
The consultant's met, they're going to run a drone up the entire trail, taking continuous pictures at the height, so we should be able to get, that should be looked at when we do the visual analysis, not just their 5 points or 10 points, but the whole thing,
Right.
especially if they're going to provide that information.
And again, on this map here, they have they call it where the Dover Oak is located. Because obviously the road continues and then goes right over here past the Dover Oak. So, right. Any further comments, questions? Okay. So again, the current anticipation is a end of October submission for a November meeting. So, all right, and then excuse me, we had a site walk for 3186 Route 22 restaurant. I can see that we're the consultant for the applicant is here.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
So during our site walk, we listened to what the board members that were there had to say, and some valid points in terms of screening from the neighbors with headlights, and we will be submitting more documentation. I'm hopeful it's going to be tomorrow to meet the deadline.
Okay.
So essentially, we added some fencing along the back of the property, along the north side of the property, and along the street side with additional landscaping because the type of fencing that we're proposing is kind of, and it's in your packet, it's a solid fence, and we're trying to achieve that look, but I want to mask some of that too. So I think with the vines that we've proposed, they'll grow in nicely and they'll kind of marry into the fence, and I think it'll look very nice. We also looked at adding some more green in the back, which we did, along with trying to maximize, and I'd love to pass these out if you don't mind. You're going to get them officially.
Yeah.
But, you know.
Remind him for me.
So we'll receive them officially tomorrow or by the deadline on Wednesday.
Well, when.
Thank you.
when-
Has to come to me
Oh, I'm
before the
sorry.
board meeting.
I'm sorry?
It's supposed to come to me before the board meeting because I have to stamp everything received.
Well, I don't think this is an official
This is an
submission.
official. You're going to get it tomorrow.
So-
it's just for conversation because I'm not good at.
I would just caution that since the board is just seeing this, you shouldn't hold them to any comments they may make because upon reflection, they may have a different opinion.
Sir?
Oh, sorry.
I'm good, I don't. I was passing it over. Okay, thank you.
They can share.
Only one?
I mean,
It's fine.
it's all right. Okay.
Okay, so as you, so so again, we
Share. I don't need
met
it.
Saturday 9 days ago. Well, we walked around the property in a clockwise manner. We went into the structure. So we had pointed out about having some screening along the property line here, which is the north side of the property.
Yes.
And then that, something along the back.
And the back
There's
has
headlights.
a lot of existing large mature trees, but we do have space, and they're into the property a little bit, so we do have space behind that to put it on the property line, so that's what we're going to propose, just on the off chance that lights would go to one of those two homes in the back.
Sure. Okay. And then, again, there was a quite a bit of discussion on, if there would be parking up front, there would need to be screening up front, or if this parking can't be here, then
Right, well, so there was a lot of discussion because the code doesn't allow parking in the front, and so they were looking for you to provide justification as to why it could not be in the back.
So we would take over the entire back of the lot if we were going to have this back row. If we lose an in and an out to get cars behind this row, and then we'd need backup space. So it would be like almost developing the whole site. We're trying to keep it, as you can see, as green as possible. The other thing is that the size of the building is kind of dictating the parking. So we want to meet code requirements, and yet we also want to keep it as natural to how it's been for all these years.
okay. All right,
But in the next submission, you'll provide the information we requested on the septic and why you can't pave over it?
Yes.
Okay.
So, Member Palmer or Rahman, anything further on that site walk?
I would just say, you may have done this, have you consulted with the building department as to it's kind of out of our purview, but the interior, the structure of that building?
In what respect?
Structural integrity.
Yeah, so we've filed an application. We actually have a permit to do reconstructive work, and as those ceilings and all that insulation's removed, because over the years they had roof leaks, and it damaged all that. That's all got to be pulled out,
Right.
and then we're going to assess it as we go. And we'll obviously be in partnership with him to walk through and look at everything, and he's going to have to inspect everything prior to being closed up.
Right.
Thank you, that's my only comment.
All right.
Yep.
Thank you. Member Rahman? Okay. Attorney Polidoro, anything further on the site walk?
I mean, just we went through the whole site, we looked at the potential for parking in the rear. Applicant's still going to address that. Talked about the screening, which it looks like they are going to be addressing. That was really it.
Those are the major
Yeah.
points, sure. Planner block.
The only additional thing was the lighting, which he said he touched on, and the fences will be there to hopefully screen adjacent neighbors. And then, yeah, we touched heavily on the screening of the parking in the front and the adequacy of it. And they've got a new submission here, so we'll have to look over that. I think that's about it. I mean, the pervious pavers was something else that we kind of touched on. They are having to go, if it was all paved, it would be above the impervious allowance. But they're substituting out, you could see these pervious pavers that'll let grass grow in between.
Correct.
So that's just something else to note, I think.
Engineer Berger?
Nothing at the time, other than, well, I guess it's a question I might as well ask. You got porous pavement in the back, which would be your pavers. So how would you delineate the spaces?
There's markers you can put on the stones themselves, so they'd be reflective.
Okay, because if you got grass growing.
Yeah,
it's
so
gonna
grass
cover-
will grow
that's
between, but the markers are there, and, you have to keep the grass to a reasonable level.
good. Okay.
All right.
Also, there was a basin that we noticed on the northern side of the property.
Yes, on the north side.
Yeah, the client who was there and owns some heavy equipment was going to use that to kind of do some more investigation.
Right.
So
Do we think that was for drainage, or?
I believe, if I was going to guess, it was the old septic for the old building that was there. Maybe. But again, I don't know.
You
And
mean
to
the
speak to,
academy.
I'm sorry, I forgot your first name, but you're right, I said the lid.
His name's Joe.
Joe? How could I forget? So you said, I mentioned the lid was 400 pounds, and I did a little calculation, so it's over 1,000 pounds, so you were,
Oh, wow.
you're right. So no one's picking that up.
Yeah, that was located like right here.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you have it on there as a catch basin.
No, well, that's where we're
Could-
proposing one.
It could be, oh, that's where you're proposing a catch
Yeah,
basin.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, I see, okay.
So if you're proposing a catch basin, where's it gonna go? The catch basin going?
It's going to go where we're showing it.
I know,
We're
but where's it
gonna
gonna drain to?
I'm sorry?
Where's it draining to?
It's going to drain to our Coltex that we have on our, it's in our package. I mean, it doesn't show it here.
We
but-
haven't seen it yet. Okay, so you're
Well,
gonna.
no, you saw it. It was in the last application, but it's not depicted on this. This was just
Okay.
color for tonight.
So you're not connecting it to the DOT system?
No, sir.
Okay.
And we have just, so for the record, we have been in contact with the state DOT, and we're trying to get them to come out because my position is that the entrance and the 20 feet from the white line that they required was completed, and it just was never signed off. So we're not changing that, and it's where it's been all these years, so,
From back in the 90s.
back in the late 90s, yes.
Last century.
And water, there's the existing water connection, and you've confirmed it's,
So the existing, and we revised it from what was on historical documents here. They had it basically coming straight in, and it actually does come along the side of the building and then make a left turn. And it's on this sketch that you received tonight, to review or to look at for reference.
okay.
And we know from another application that the water line does go up this east side of 22. Because they needed to cross for their application under the road.
And we did receive comments from Fire, and they did speak to the 4-inch line and how they'd like the water company to, enlarge it and put the hydrant back, and
But they wanted you to increase the line on your property, right?
no, they were talking about the 4-inch water main line outside of our property, that the water company had not increased over time. and
Number 7 says, "It is the fire department's recommendation that the water main be increased from 4 inches to 8 inches from the corner of Route 22 Mill Street to the proposed project area, and a fire hydrant be reinstalled that was removed by the previous water company owner."
Right,
So that's on the property.
that's not on our property.
Okay.
That's beyond us. But and I had a conversation with, firefighter Kelly, I believe his name is. And
He is
we were
president of the fire company.
Yeah, so we were at the house, we were kind of talking about it, and he had kind of given me a prelude to the comments, and he said, listen, he says, a lot of these comments aren't directed to you guys. It's really to put it on record for this water company to really have to do something to help them, because, this is a main road, and there's a lot of businesses and things on it, and now there's going to be housing across the street, so it's just, there's a bigger demand.
Okay.
Well, that's, Mr. Chairman?
Yeah, sure.
Talking about water, have you met with the water company about they having their, what they need from you to connect to their line, since they own the line?
So there
including-
there is a connection inside the building. There is plans to connect with them and just have a discussion about that and see if, at this point, so many years later, maybe a new line has to be done, or maybe that needs to be tested.
So you said
'Cause
there's a
shuttle
line already
valves.
there.
I'm sorry?
You said you already have a line there,
Oh, yeah.
and that's been approved by them already. Keep in mind, summer project down the road, thought they had approval from the former water company, and that didn't last with time.
Okay.
So I strongly recommend you have a conversation with the water company about your ability to use whatever line's there or what they need.
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
If you didn't close out the process with them at the time, they might.
I wasn't there.
It might still be
You're right.
open.
So there is, but you're saying there is an existing water line that goes to
There's
the
water lines in there with shut-off valves, and there was water throughout. There were toilets and,
Right.
there was a water heater, a huge water heater, so they had service.
So when we had the site walk,
It was
the
gone.
the bathroom spaces were empty because it was ripped out because of the roof leaks.
All the roof leaks
mold
and everything,
Okay.
right. Everything kind of collapsed in there.
Right. Yeah, you can see from the back of the property, if you stand on the septic field and look west towards Route 22, you can see it was a relatively new rubberized roof on the back middle section
That was just repaired,
of
yeah.
the building. Yeah. Yeah, it was basically, it looked like this part of the roof was probably still like the original roof, but this roof was
Right.
a new, like,
This-
kind of rubberized.
Yeah, that's just a shed, and the other one is more of a gable, and it's a metal roof.
I did notice that water main in there, when we were doing the site walk, there's a 3/4 inch copper line.
Okay.
It comes up in what was probably a bathroom. Looked like there was probably a meter on it.
I think that was like just outside the bathroom in the utility area.
It was, yeah, it was.
Right, it was right there. It was
Yeah.
right there. But, to speak to Joe's point, it's something we will do as well, because I think that line has to be looked at.
Right. Okay. Good. Anybody have anything further regarding the sidewalk? Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so then, all right, so our next meeting is October 7th. The deadline for that is noon this Wednesday, the 18th. And then we'll have a meeting after that on October 21st. The deadline for that is October 2nd. And then the meeting after that would be on November 18th. The deadline is October 30th. So, all right. We know we'll have the continuation of the 10 Mile River Activity Barn public hearing at the next meeting. Likely have something for this project. Anything further that we're aware of at this time?
Maybe Sherman Hills?
Right, maybe Sherman Hill. Okay. All right. With that, I'll make a motion to adjourn. Seconded by
Second.
Member Belvedere. All in favor of adjournment, say aye. Aye. We are adjourned.